Okay, so now we're going to talk about rational exponents, which is really just another way to write what we've been working with. So you'll see this expression right here where there's an nth root. So when you have the nth root of something, you could rewrite that as a, whatever's the radicand is, to the exponent of 1 over n. Okay, so let's say you have the square root of 5. You could write that as 5 to the 1/2. Or let's say you had the cubed root of 7. You could write that as 7 to the 1/3. Or let's say you had something like the fourth root of 5ab. You could write that as 5ab to the 1/4 power. Okay? So it's just a different way of writing it. Now you might be saying, well, why would I want to rewrite them? Like, why can't I just have the radicals? Because when we have it in an exponent form, we can use the exponent rules. So it can be really handy sometimes. But right now we're just going to practice changing the forms. So they asked me to simplify on these 5 problems, and each one's a little bit different. So we're going to take them one at a time. Usually, like if I want to simplify that, I am going to change it to the radical notation. So it says 64 to the 1/2. That means the square root of 64. Now, I don't want to write a little 2 there. Sometimes people like to put a little 2 there. It's not wrong, it's just we don't usually write that when it's a square root. Well, I know the square root of 64, that's 8. Okay, so that one's done. Part B, okay, I want the cubed root then. So the denominator is going to be the root part. So I want the cubed root of 125. Now, some calculators will do a cubed root. You could also on your calculator go 125 to the power of 1 divided by 3. That will work also. That's just a little bit of calculator knowledge. I know the cubed root of 125 is 5. You could do that on your calculator. You could say, well, is 5 to the 3rd power 125? You know, you could take a good guess. Okay, now let's look at C. Notice that this has a negative sign in front of it. That means that that 1/4, that exponent, is not on that negative sign. So it's negative 4th root of 16. If they wanted the negative sign, like if they had written, where can I write it? If they'd written like negative 16 in parentheses to the 1/4, that would be a different situation. That would be the 4th root of negative 16, and that's not real, and there we go. Okay, but this is going to work out. We know the 4th root of 16 from the previous videos. I think we saw that one a lot. Okay, so I'm getting the subtraction signs just coming down because it was already outside the radical, and negative 2. Okay, now this next one, that's a little bit like the situation that I was talking about here. It's going to be the cubed root of negative 27. Now, can I take the cubed root of a negative number? Yes. I can't take the even root of a negative number, but an odd root I can. So what times what times what is negative 27? Negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, that's negative 27. So the answer here is going to be negative 3. Okay? All right, this last one is a little bit different. It has a negative sign, but notice the negative sign is in the exponent. Well, what do we do with negative exponents? We have to make it 1 over 64 to the 1/3. You have to move it downtown, okay? So don't forget how we deal with negative exponents. Location, location, location. So you have to put that down in the denominator to get that to be a positive exponent. Now I can work with it. So 1 over the cubed root of 64, which I think we already did that. 64 is kind of cool because there's a square root of 64 and there's also a cubed root. So it's 4, 1 over 4. Okay, so that's just a little bit of practice with taking it from rational exponents and writing them with radicals. And then we can figure them out. We can simplify them.